everybody. Welcome to Tales Roadhouse. I'm so excited. My old friend, Mr. Craig Moore, is in the house with us today. It's so good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, man. Thank you for making that long drive from
It
the
is
other
a
side of
long
Nashville.
drive.
It's a long way, son.
Me and you both went
It's
out
a
of
long
town.
way.
We went a long way from town. We went opposite directions.
Yeah, I looked out that way when I bought property out here. I just kind of like this side of town. It's close
Yeah.
to the airport.
It is.
I like
You're a lot closer.
You don't
to the
have to
airport.
go through downtown if you got an early morning flight. You just like right on this side.
We can both pee off our front porch and nobody can see us. So
That's right. Or
That's
the back
what's great.
porch, or
Yep.
go in the tree line.
in the yard.
I got a herd of deer. I was driving in the other night, and I think I had 15 right at the pond. Got a nice little arrangement of bucks. I just don't have any mass on them here. I've got some
Yeah.
genetic deformity where I have like 3 horns on one side, 3, 4, and then like one growing out behind the ear. It's like really lopsided, and they don't get any mass to them. They're very thin.
We feed them.
And I've done food plots.
Have
I've
you?
hit them with protein. When I first bought out here, man, I did all the things. It reaches out for a good ways in this
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
So it's just a deformity. It's genetic deformity in the population here. But turkeys are pretty stupid too. They'll come out here. You catch them up here pecking on the bumpers.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I heard.
I'm
I'm keeping an eye on your tour schedule so I know when you're gone.
a lot of turkeys out here. Lots of turkeys out here. What's going on in your world?
Man, it's busy. I keep thinking I'm gonna freaking slow down. I swear.
Yeah.
Only and I kind of wanted to, after COVID, as you know, all that happened, and I really thought I would slow down a little bit intentionally and spend more time directing my energies into some other things. But then all of a sudden, everything just blew up. The book came out. And I think between that, new music, everything it just keeps going. Every time I think I'm gonna slow down, God does something and says, "I ain't done with you yet."
When COVID happened, I think we were all kind of in denial. I remember it was me and Justin Moore and Laney Wilson were out. We'd gone out. We started in February, and what was it?
Also, it's like March, Kansas,
I
somewhere in
think
there.
we started off in
Like when we ended it.
but when we started the tours like the end of January when we did rehearsals in Dodge City, Kansas, I believe. And then from there, we had just finished up in Denver, and we had come home, and it was just starting to escalate. It was the first week of March, and we got home, and they shut everything down. Just the whole thing came to a stop. And I was in denial for several months, like we're going back to work. Still had dates on the books. Every month rolled by, we canceled more until I finally resolved the fact after we lost our entire July. And then getting my brain to process the fact that I was shutting down for a while, which I hadn't done in 30-something years. It's like you, we worked.
Yeah.
Then after I finally processed it, I was like, I'm not going to go back to work. I'm not going to get back on it. And then when it fired back up,
Same
it's like
thing.
the money came up, and the tour schedule's
Exactly.
crazy, and 90s music was popping again. It's like, man, what do you do?
You
don't know how long you're going to have this
That's
go
right.
around.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing. In fact, when after you go, well, we're not going back for a while. We know that.
Yep.
It was like the most awesome thing, man. Karen and I did nothing but travel.
Yeah.
We have a place in Alaska and in Florida, and we just bounced around from freaking place to place. And, you get on a plane and go to Alaska, and there's no one on the airplane,
Wow.
and sit up there, and they go, you have to keep your mask on unless you're drinking. Like, time we got to Alaska, I was hammered, man.
No.
Doing nothing but wine, and they walk by, and I'm like, oh, I got to be sipping,
Actively drinking.
Yeah, but that's all we did, and I just loved it. It was the first time like you were saying, we work.
Yeah, and it's
It's the first time I'd ever done that in years.
Getting off the treadmill was hard enough, but getting fired back up was even harder. It's like
Yeah, it took a minute.
Took a minute to get my
It
feet
did
back
feel
on
good though.
Yeah, it felt
Once
good to
we
go back
got
out,
going,
but
it did feel good.
But then 2 days a weekend run turns into 11 the next month, and the next thing you know, you're
it
back
did.
in it. It happened really fast. But I said I wasn't going to grind it out like that anymore. But I couldn't
I'm not.
help it.
I'm just telling you, I'm not going to grind it like that anymore.
How many dates you do a year?
Well, I said I will not do over 60.
Oh shoot, son.
I just told him I'm not doing over 60 dates a year. But then, like Blake calls and says, hey, normally I'm in Alaska after Christmas till March.
Yeah.
Till mid-March. And like this year Blake called and they're wanting to start end of February. We wanted to start the end of February and through March. And so I said, okay, I'll come back early for that. And
those are career moves, though. It's not like just going out and taking dates. I mean, those are career opportunities.
Oh, no,
yeah.
It was a great dude,
absolutely.
it's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's been phenomenal. And then we released this new music, the American Soundtrack EP, and because of this, between the tour and, you know, some appearances, like we did Fox and Friends the other day, and I mean, it was the #1 most downloaded video, #1 music, number 13 all genres, you know. But that's because of what we're doing: the tour, the appearances, you know, your podcast. The people hear this stuff and they, you know, go download the music. And that's what it takes.
You know, and the whole landscape's completely different from the way we started. You know, just the whole social media, all the things that you need to do now.
I told people when we started, we had one thing, really.
Yeah,
especially as a beginner, country radio.
That and a little bit of tour press and stuff.
Yeah, some tour, but it was different though.
Yeah.
You know, now, I don't know anybody reads a newspaper that comes to a concert.
I don't read.
They're all looking at, you know, they're watching podcasts, listening to them, doing all the social platforms, you know, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Truth, all that stuff.
Yep, that's where everybody gets most of their news from, but the news cycle runs so fast. There's so much stuff going on, especially right now. I mean, everything's just every day.
It's unbelievable.
Just pounding you between the eyes with stuff all the time.
It's a lot. There's a lot.
It is
to
a
take
lot.
in.
You still doing a lot of patriotic stuff?
Yeah, we do, yeah. I mean, you know, I'm back in the Army.
In the Army.
1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. I'm an Army reservist, warrant officer in the Army band now.
Yeah.
But I've only got I don't know, if they've asked me if I would extend beyond my commitment.
So what exactly are you doing in the reserve?
So I'm in the 313th U.S. Army Reserve Band.
Okay.
I'm a warrant officer in the band. I'm one of the vocalists. In fact, I'm one of the senior vocalists in the Army band. My job is to work with other vocalists and represent the Army, and the Army bands do a lot. What's really funny is the primary position or primary job of a warrant officer in the United States Army Band is not only a conductor of the Army bands and work with them, but we're also the coordinators for all change of command ceremonies. So anytime there's a change of command ceremony, they go to the Army band, they tap them to make sure that everything is done right. You know, dress right dress, all of the formalities of where people stand, when people are speaking, when the band's playing, the conducting of the band, all of that stuff. That's our non-wartime occupation. In wartime, we become Graves Registration. The Army band becomes the Graves Registration personnel, so that we have a wartime occupation as well.
You're a structure guy, aren't you?
I'm sorry?
Structure. You need structure and discipline in your life.
Oh yeah, very much.
When did that start for you?
Probably about 5.
Did you grow up? Was your dad in the military?
Nope, parents were not in the military,
Really?
but we lived a very structured life. Both my parents worked. Excuse me. So it was you had to get up at a certain time. You had to eat at a certain time. Even as a kid, be at the school bus, get home at a certain time, do certain chores, because both parents worked and they had schedules, and we had to, we worked around their schedules, just the way it was. Went into college and got away from that for about 5 minutes, and then sobered up and joined the Army.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating for a guy like you that really believes in structure and discipline and all those things to really see the craziness that's going on out in the country and just the crap that's happened to our society. It's got to be very frustrating for you to watch.
I feel sad for people. The problem is ignorance. It's really that simple. And I tell people all the time, I will tell someone you're ignorant. That is.
Do you think it's brainwashing?
There's a lot of that.
Bit of it. Yeah.
There's a difference though between being ignorant and being stupid.
I was explaining this the other day.
Stupid is ignorance that denies truth. That's stupidity.
Yeah.
We have a lot of ignorance, people that just aren't truly aware of truths because they have been fed so much misinformation.
And the frustrating thing to me about watching all of it now and being a follower of current affairs and politics and everything that goes on, knowing that what used to just be a college situation where certain colleges, you knew that there was indoctrination going on. Now they've manipulated it all the way back into preschool and kindergarten and all that stuff. So they start doing that stuff at a very early age. I'm glad to see a lot of it being rewound right now.
Well, this stuff started in the 50s.
Oh, absolutely. And it's all been done by design.
Yeah, it's all been done by design. Yep. But yeah, there's a lot of information out now. There's a lot of truths coming out. I mean, if you just look at government spending, if you don't look at anything else that's going on in our politics right now, I'm telling anyone that's listening to me, pay close attention to government spending. I can attest to this I know these things for fact. I've been part of that spending process, working as a supply guy, going and buying supplies for the military, for our unit at low level. But if you look at it and you look at some of the absolute asinine spending that we have made, that they brought to the forefront, You can't help but be aggravated about that. That's what our taxpayer dollars are paying for.
$900 toilet seats.
Yeah,
$400
hammers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, having said that, I have a hammer that literally costs $400.
Where'd you get that?
Hey, it's titanium. I'm not kidding. In Alaska, you'd be amazed the difference between a titanium hammer and a wooden hammer or a steel hammer. The titanium, the cold don't affect it the same.
It don't vibrate in your hand the same.
Your hand won't.
You hit a
freeze
metal
to it.
hammer in a cold, it goes all the way up to
Absolutely.
your teeth.
Even a good hickory handle, it vibrates
Never
down
thought
to you,
about that,
down to your toes. Not to get back on that feet subject we was talking about.
You spent a lot of time in Alaska. So have you seen Sasquatch?
There is. You know what?
Come on, tell me about it.
No, ain't no Sasquatch.
There ain't no Sasquatch?
Bro, come on.
Man, come on, man.
Man, I've got
Ain't no
400
aliens?
game cameras around the world.
They can smell them.
Ain't nobody ever
They
seen a
can
game
smell.
picture of Sasquatch.
They can smell them.
No. And my son, Jerry, that passed, he swore by it. Still to this day.
I believe there's Sasquatch.
Sasquatch is a big thing with our family because Jerry believed in it. I mean, he absolutely believed that there was a Sasquatch.
I believe in Sasquatch.
I'm sorry, man.
What about aliens?
I don't know, because if I say yeah, then how could I not believe in Sasquatch?
What if Sasquatch was an alien?
He could have been.
Could have been.
So yeah, that's a different subject. There's just so much information being hidden about this alien stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe.
I've been down
I
so
know
many
one
rabbit
thing
holes.
that does exist, and I've
God.
never seen it, and that's God.
God.
I know that.
We've felt the presence.
But who's to say God didn't have another little planet out there with some ugly little people on it?
Elon Musk
Aliens.
will find it.
Elon's gonna find it. He will find it.
Well, I love going down a good rabbit hole. I've been down so many crazy things, man. What's the craziest thing you've ever traced down a rabbit hole?
I don't know. My attention span isn't that long. I have ADD and OCD, so they put the two together, and I'm more jacked up than it's hard to focus.
Yeah. That's why it's got to be weird for me.
It usually is.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'll come across some subject matter, and like you're talking about, you get what'd you say? You get the Twitter finger,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll just go down. Right now, it's the damn. I'm embarrassed to say
Oh,
this.
come on, get it out there.
Dude, the moon landing.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't go to
I'm
the moon.
watching the videos now, and it brought up stuff that I never thought about.
You can't have shadows that
How did they
intersect.
send that video? How did the president talk to him on a landline?
Didn't happen. No, we might have gone now.
And the videos where they're bouncing around. And then there was a movie made about the lie. Have you seen that movie?
The one where they say that Stanley Kubrick was the one that shot all of it in the studio?
They made a movie and they said it's really happening, but the public can't see it, so we're going to show them what it looks like. I'm starting to believe that shit's real, bro. That's what they did.
I believe that's what they did.
Now, I don't deny that we land on the moon.
At some point, but I don't know.
I spoke to Neil Armstrong one time.
Did you really?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he swears by it. Huh. There's people that say that Neil, I heard him say, he told me, yes, we did it.
See,
but he wouldn't say we filmed it.
Well, I don't know if we had that. Here's the thing that gets me about the whole deal. The Van Allen radiation belt, that was a freaking tin can that they supposedly sent through that radiation belt to get out of the lower Earth orbit into outer space to get to the moon.
On the moon. It bounced around.
And why didn't they all die of cancer within 6 months when they got back?
Yeah.
Because they went through an intense radiation field.
Yeah, I had no idea, man.
I mean, there's so many questions that I have about that. Have you ever stumbled upon a guy named Admiral Richard Byrd? So he did an exposition like in 1918. He was commissioned by the government to go to the South Pole and do the thing where he took like battleships and everything down, and he swears he did interviews after he came back, said that his plane was locked on by a tracking beam and he was taken into the inner Earth by these tall translucent beings that were of a different race that lived in the hollow Earth.
You have gone down a bad rabbit hole, bro.
This guy is very legitimate. He was very respected and well known in the early 1900s.
So was Charlie Manson in this. I mean,
look him up,
the
man.
guy made
It's
music.
a fascinating
People cut his songs.
Oh yeah, he was batshit crazy.
Batshit crazy.
Yeah. And so what does that make me?
No, not you. Not you, the guy. I mean, I'm that way too. I listen to people and go, man, wow, maybe. I don't know. But honestly, like I said, thank God I got a short attention span because I think
the Earth's flat.
We got too much stuff going on to ride it. You know?
I think the Earth's flat anyway. So what the hell?
Man, do not. Oh my God, don't get me. The worst thing my son has ever done was to come home and tell my wife that he believed the Earth was flat. He still screws with her. He'll send her a video every now and then or something. You know?
They took pictures of it from the moon landing of the Earth, and it's round.
They did not take. That was a composite rendering. That was not a picture that was taken.
The Earth is round. I've jumped out of airplanes, and you can see the curvature.
Can you really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
When you shoot a weapon, the fall.
That's just because it runs out of momentum.
They have scopes where you can see distance now. And if you're 6 feet off and you're put a pole up there was a movie made about that guy who lived in his mama's basement, him and his cat woman friend. I'm not saying that people on cats are weird, but I'm saying that woman was weird. Too. And the two of them together, should never have children.
We were just talking about people shouldn't procreate a while ago. Some people just don't need to have children.
That's a fact.
It really
that is an
a fact.
absolute fact.
Yeah, but we need to bypass that and move on to something else. Let's talk about music.
Right.
You got a new EP that just came out, right?
I do. American Soundtrack. Title cut. I love this stuff. It's weird, man, because, I'm unlike a lot of people. I've been doing a bunch of interviews because of this new music, and I find myself having to be careful. I'm going to be honest, because I would never want anyone to hear me speak and think that for 1 second I was ungrateful for what I have been so blessed with in this world, and in particular concerning the music business and my career. But I am not like a lot of guys in this business. My whole world does not revolve around the music. When I write songs, I don't write them and go, oh, like I hear guys say it. I know writers, and I've got some good friends, dear friends. Oh, this is my baby. This is like it's a freaking song, bro. It's a song. That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
I got in the music business to make a living. And I knew that in this business, it would be the only business that I could ever be in. And if I were successful, I would do better in this business than any other business that I could be in and make money.
It's a great way to make a living.
It is a great way to make a living.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to underplay the value that I put on it. And I also truly appreciate and am grateful and humbled by the impact music can have in people's lives. I can tell you stories about the things that people have told me. But for me, music isn't like therapy. It ain't like I can pick up a guitar and I have veteran friends that it's changed their lives. It's saved their lives, I venture to say. I know guys in a program called Guitars for Vets. I've had them at my place in Alaska, and they've told me that by picking up a guitar, it saved their life. It kept them from shooting themselves. Now, Call of Duty keeps me from shooting myself. You know what I mean? It's just, for me, I love and appreciate what it does, but I tell people this. Music does not dictate who I am. It is not what I am. It's what I do. It is a big part of who I am because it's what I do for a living. But it don't dictate who I am. And when I write a song, I'm writing a song in order to try to appease my listenership, my friends. I want to write, produce, sing, and deliver a hit song every time I do it.
Yeah.
And not just for the money, because that's what I do for a living. If I were making wooden spoons, and I've done that, I would want to make the best wooden spoon that I could possibly make for the people who use them. Because I want them to pick them up and go, that's freaking beautiful. I want to do the same thing with my music.
So when you write songs, are you a spontaneous guy that just holds on to titles all the time? You going to bed writing notes down, or are you a structured guy when you go into writing mode, which is like I do? I lock in on writing mode, and then I push everything out, and then I have all these ideas, and then I'll just write.
I kind of mix them both.
Yeah.
That's a good question. When you ask it that way, you're asking it different than most people ask that question about writing. I put them both together. I am very spontaneous when it comes to writing. I've learned that, there's a book on personality traits, you type A's and type C's and Z's and all these different things, and they break those down. I'm a guy that is extremely creative, driven by motion. So when I'm busy or if I'm driving down the road, man, my brain is freaking running 90 miles an hour with songs or with ideas. but I can take that and sit in a structured environment and work. But what I can't do is sit down. When I write, I do better. Like I do more writer retreat kind of things.
Yeah.
Like I'll bring in 6 writers or 4 writers, and I'll put 2 in one room, 2 in another, and I'll go back and forth and write 2 songs at the same time.
Gotcha.
That's the way I have to write. I can't sit still and do it.
Everybody's got their own way. You know, for me,
They do.
one of the hardest things that I had to adjust to, and it goes back to what you were talking about not getting personally attached to songs. When I first got to town, I came with a sack of songs and a bunch of cassette tapes, and me in my bedroom playing my acoustic guitar and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I had things that I was very personally attached to, and to get those songs shot down by co-writes and other people that I played it for, that was very humbling for me, because I had a real hard time with it, because you do get personally attached. And I had to realize that I probably didn't need to be the person going out pitching my songs, going to pitch meetings with other artists.
Oh, that's a good observation.
Because I had to back off of that, because I got too personally involved. And you don't want to put yourself in that situation, because I know when I'm in song listing mode, I can be brutal. I mean, I might hear the opening line or 2 lines of a song and say, done.
Same here.
If it gives me a redundant opening line that I've heard 10,000 times, I'll cut it off freaking immediately.
I'm exactly same way.
And that hurts people, because a lot of songwriters, especially young songwriters, you learn to get past that as you get older.
Oh, you have to. If you want to make a living at it.
I've come home. I wrote this song one time. Called First Step when she takes her first step to leaving, and me and Rick Huckabee and Martin Nessler wrote it. I came home, I was so proud of this song. My wife went, I got pissed off, boy. It hurt my feelings.
I honestly, God, I don't play my music for my wife.
Yeah,
because she could give 2 shits.
Don't
less.
care.
She don't care. And like, I mean, dude, she swore up down Redneck Yacht Club would never be a hit. Swear.
Yeah.
So, oh, you can't play that. I got family in Texas that hear that. That's embarrassing. Like, okay, cool. International Harvester, huge hit. This is gonna be a smash. Oh, that's terrible. Like, okay, your vote don't count anymore. Out.
It hurts your feelings.
But
don't
she'll
it?
take no. It didn't bother. You know what? Here's
I'd get mad and say, I ain't playing you another damn song.
Now, I will say the difference in hurt my feelings just being aggravated. Like, you're not listening. I will say you're not listening. You're not paying attention. Think from a business perspective, whatever. I know it's just terrible. Okay, whatever. The difference, though, I had an advantage over a lot of people coming in this business, I do believe. I had a military career that taught me getting shot down ain't a bad thing. Getting beat up is not a bad thing. Especially if and I tell people, and I live by this philosophy now, in all aspects of my life, my spiritual life, my personal life, my physical life, if you're willing to endure a certain level of pain, the goal is so much greater. But there is going to be pain in growth. It's just that simple. Christ says it in our spiritual life. It ain't going to be easy. You're meant to suffer. I tell people when they come to Alaska, you're going to get cold. But by gosh, when you're sitting in front of that fire that evening, that warmth has never felt better. And that glass of wine has never tasted better.
Oh, that's so good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you got to be willing to do that. And the same goes in our professional life. If you're not willing to accept criticism, you'll never make it in this business. It's just
it's too brutal, and you can't have thin skin. You can't have thin skin and work out on the road. The culture that we live in, we're cruel to each other. I'm sure you guys are too. That's just part of the culture of being guys on the road. We're cruel to each other sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's part of the humor. We have a warped sense of humor out here.
I mean, that's why they do upper deckers and different things like that. People can Google that.
Yeah.
How do you balance all your spiritual life, your professional life, your family life? I mean, how do you structure all that? I mean, what's your philosophy on that?
Number one thing, it's really simple. Christ first.
Gotcha.
If he's first, everything else will fall into play. You were talking about, coming in here and knowing things and learning and stuff. It took me a minute to learn where my platform was. When I came into this business, I was still in the Army. And the one thing I didn't want to be was the singing soldier. I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be recognized as, that. I mean, of course, then I released my very first single called Paradise. Talking about Panama. But I just wanted people to appreciate my music for my music and me as an entertainer, not give me any credit in that arena because I was a soldier. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. You wanted you to validate it on your own
That's
terms.
right. Not as a soldier. it took me a minute to figure out how to balance that and learn where your platform is. You have to know your platform or you're going to bounce all over the place.
Yeah.
And it took me a minute to figure out it's God, family, country. That's who I am. It's what I do. It's what I profess. It's what I preach. It's what I sing. And now I figured out how you can do that and still reach your demographic, at least the majority of our demographic.
But don't you feel like, as an artist in this business, and this is something that would probably be, I could get on my soapbox to a lot of young kids and try to explain this to them, about being pretty solid about who you are, being very strict about what you cut, not being pressured into doing certain things. I mean, because you got to live it. Label people will change, promotion people will change. You might go to 3 or 4 different labels. It's all going to be a different circle of people that moves around your life. If you cut a song and you have a hit on it, you're going to be singing it the rest of your life.
That's a fact.
And sometimes I watched people on Atlantic early on. They tried to shove a lot of the love ballads and stuff on me, and I had to fight all that stuff off. Just because John Michael was doing it didn't mean that's the path I wanted to go down.
Right.
But labels force people down these paths these days.
They do.
A lot more than what we experienced.
Yeah, I think, artists these days, I will say, bro, I think they have an advantage over us when we first started, in that a lot of them are establishing themselves. They're knowing their platform before they get signed. And I think they've learned that they have a little more power than we thought we had back then.
To a degree, maybe, but there's also some limitations. And
it depends on their desire. Here's the thing. A lot of them want it so bad they're willing to compromise their morals and values for it.
Absolutely. And they're also willing to just kind of sell themselves out to all of it. It's just a difficult thing to balance all of it out. And when you come into it and all of a sudden you get surrounded by all this stuff, it can get pretty overwhelming.
It can be.
And you rely on counsel of all these people, and all of a sudden they say you get your whole lifetime to write your first album. You get 6 months to write the second one.
Yep.
So you get kind of shoved into this whirlwind of things that are going on.
I did it too.
Yeah.
I can say that in all honesty, what we're talking about. I did some of it because I didn't know what I was doing. And they said, oh, you need to wear a cowboy hat. Oh, Tracy Lawrence is wearing one. John Michael Montgomery's wearing one. You need to wear a cowboy hat. I'm like, oh, I don't wear a cowboy hat, but okay, I'll wear a hat. We did a photo shoot with a cowboy hat. I'm like, that's dumb. I'm not a cowboy.
It just I
don't even have a damn horse. You want me to wear a damn cowboy hat? And then afterwards, it's like, but to what you're saying, I learned. Next photo shoot. Oh, I'm not wearing a cowboy hat, bro. I'm not a cowboy. I feel fake doing this. I'm not comfortable with this. My wife's from Texas. Her in-laws are cowboys. I'm not doing that. Her family's cowboys. So.
But the branding is just as important, man. You don't want to get stuck having to do something. Could you imagine being a hair band in the 80s and being our age now and still having to wear them tight pants?
Yeah.
And put the wig on and all that? No. I couldn't do it.
I think that's been my biggest issue. I'll be honest with you, Tracy. If people, and I've had a very few people ask me, what would I change? And I would say not much of anything. My biggest problem was I did not wear a cowboy hat. I didn't wear a trench coat. I didn't do this. I was not one thing. So my managers throughout my career, publicists, all of these people are going, holy shit, man, I wished he would pick one freaking thing. But I soldiered. I did music. I did extreme sports. I did this. I did that. And I wasn't going to not do those things and do just this to make it easier for me to be identifiable. Does that make sense?
It does. Absolutely.
And advice I give a young artist is focus. Unlike me.
Yeah.
Maybe it makes everybody's job a little easier, to make your life a little simpler maybe. But I was not, and still will not, change who I am or what it is, the things that I'm going to do or want to do in order to achieve that level of success for someone else or even for me. I might have been a lot different if I'd have focused a little.
You've never been one of these artists that changed when you got on the road, though. Some people have a whole different persona when they get on the road, and then they come home, and there's like 2 different people there. There's like
I can
a
name
split
a few.
person.
I'm not going to, but it blows my mind.
Yeah, but there's more narcissism in this business.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
And
good people for the most part.
Absolutely, but it's like they turn on this.
Cow,
they turn on this persona, and it's like this whole different person. It's like
I've heard them say it, Tracy. I've heard them say it. I'm a different person on stage.
Yeah,
I'm a completely different person. I'm like, wow, I'd lose my shit trying to figure
my
out.
My wife whooped my ass if I came
Yeah.
home like that. I still have to take the trash out and bathe the dogs and pick up poop out of the backyard.
I said that yesterday.
Go to the grocery
still take
store.
my garbage off. We don't have trash pickup where I'm at.
I still go to the dump on Mondays.
We do the same thing.
I got my routine that I do.
Yep, I got a truck that is literally just so my wife can put it in the truck bed. So because she ain't gonna take it.
Yeah.
Like, no, I have to do it.
I have to change the litter.
I will tell you this. I don't go to Walmart anymore though.
I don't like Walmart. Yeah.
I do. I kind of like it, but now they got that pickup and delivery shit now. They deliver to my house in Dixon, bro, in the country. I don't even have to go to Walmart anymore, bro.
I like that impulse buy. I'm bad about Amazon though, man. I got shit.
Oh, that's. Yeah.
I think we laugh. The Amazon plant's like 2 miles from the back of the house as the crow flies. So they should just give us our own driver and our own
you
truck.
Should have one
because they're here every day.
You should have a personal drone.
That truck comes to our house at least once a day.
Same here. Same here.
Yeah.
Every day.
Whether it's tubes for my guitar amp or chemical for the bus or our dog food or whatever's going on.
I'm going to tell my wife, our Amazon, we have like 3 of them.
Yeah.
3 different guys that come out there pretty regular. There's a truck in our yard every day, up our driveway, and we're on top of a big hill. And my wife, when I'm not home, like she keeps the house real cold. So she'll be dressed, but she puts her robe on. She likes her robe over top. And one day the Amazon guy come up and she went outside and she said, "Hey, I'm in my robe. I know it's 3 o'clock. Don't judge me." And he said, "Miss Karen, I ain't judging you, but I ain't never been up here when you didn't have your robe on."
Sounds like she's living a good life, baby.
That's a good life, man.
So what's the most, tell me the most extreme thing that you survived going through military training, and tell me an extreme thing that you want to do you haven't done.
The most extreme thing, probably escape and evasion course, a portion of Korean Ranger School.
Is it water training?
It was
a mixture?
No, so the E&E portion is they do 10 days. And it was very reminiscent, if people can remember the old Vietnam movies, the war camps they put them in. And you're in bamboo cages and all that stuff. You got to remember, this was in I'm going to tell myself here. 80. This was 1988, right before the invasion of Panama. So I was in Korea and I went through the Korean Ranger School, and it was 10 weeks at the time, I do believe. I mean, it's been so long. But there was a 10-day portion where you went through escape and evasion, and they literally took you through, stripped you naked, and sprayed you down like for lice and stuff. And then you had these Vietnam era pajamas that you put on, and they would put us in these cages that were like 4 foot off the ground, and they were 4 foot by 4 foot by 10 foot, and just stuff us in that. It was like chicken wire. And I remember, I can see the image in my head so clearly. I remember being in there, and I noticed the grass grew up right to the bottom. And I thought, this is weird that the grass is that tall. And I figured out why. After about 24 hours, the guys were reaching through and pulling the grass. They would break it off, and that's what they were eating. Because they didn't give us any food. You ate that, bugs, anything that flew in, that's what you would eat. But your objective was to escape. The whole time. That's all it was. So myself, another American, and one Katusha and one Korean soldier. The Katusas were the Korean augmentation to the United States Army. So the Korean soldiers that are serving in the United States Army with us. The 4 of us devised a plan, and we escaped. We got out. And all you know when you escape is that there is a safe house at this particular location. You got to try to find it. Well, between you and that safe house are these towns, and the local populace is paid if they see you, find you, turn you in, or anything like that. So we had made up our minds we were going to run nonstop through the town, knocking people down. We didn't give a crap, man. We were going to steal vehicles, do whatever we had to do. And I'll never forget, we ran through, and we were going through this backyard. We jumped a fence, and when the Katusha yanked up this chicken, and before that chicken's heart had stopped beating, the 4 of us were eating it. We had it plucked and were eating it while it was still freaking kicking, bro. That's how hungry we were.
Wow.
And we made it to the house, the safe house. And we got there, and there was fruit and chocolate. And we hadn't had anything to eat in like 7 days. I don't know. Not really. No real food. When they would feed us, they would bring rice and throw rice, like cups of rice in. You would catch what you could catch and eat it, So we were starving to death, and we all ate as much as we could, and we all threw up right afterwards. Everybody, we just gorged ourselves so bad we threw up. And we thought, freaking A, man, we done it. We're studs. F them, man. They can't touch us. And we we went back and we thought, well, we don't have to stay there anymore because we escaped. They put us right back in the dang camp. But we were kind of like trustees, so we didn't have to stay in the cage, and we would just sweep up. We were kind of like trustees, but we were fed the same way as
How do you
them.
get your mind right for that?
Does
that much conditioning getting you to the point?
Suffer?
Yeah,
you got to suffer.
Do you have any desire?
And you're telling yourself it's only 10 days. This part's only 10 days. I can get through this part. I can make it through the next part.
Yeah,
get through here one stage at a time.
So the next part of the question was about the extreme thing you haven't done, and I envision Everest and things like that. What's something that you want to do that you hadn't done?
Mount McKinley. Only because I can see it.
You got the skill set for that?
I'm sorry?
The rappelling and the climbing and all that?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. I mean, it's been a while, but it don't take much to reignite that.
Yeah.
Just the biggest thing is exercise. I mean, look.
Where's Mount McKinley at? I'm not.
In Alaska. That's the That's the problem with me.
That's where you see it from
our property up there. When I walk out and I'm standing there, I can see it.
Is it straight
There's no
sheer
question
cliffs or is it?
I'm 40 miles from the mountain.
But what's the topography there? Is it steep, flat cliffs that you got to climb up with spikes and climbing?
It's a mix, and there's different routes that you can take up McKinley. That are a lot of it's dictated by weather and different things. But what a lot of people don't know is McKinley, or Denali, whatever you want to call it, from the base to the tip is actually a longer climb than from base camp to tip on Everest. You can Google that and you can see that. Everest is considered the tallest because of its geographical location. So you start at a higher altitude there when you go from
base camp's about halfway up. Yeah. There's a staging platform, and then you go up to base camp.
But even their staging from bottom to top is a longer. You take more steps on McKinley than you do on Everest.
What's the mountain height?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right
18, 20?
Up there.
McKinley.
20,320.
Yeah.
You see, that's based on sea level.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's but the problem is I see it all the time, and my wife's like, "You are not doing that.
You see that mountain over there? Someday I'll go climb it.
Climb that
mountain. You can't help it when you start.
Can't do it.
It's always there. See that mountain over there?
That's the problem of being a singer and a songwriter, isn't it?
Yeah, you use song lyrics in every conversation.
Man, I love mountain music. Oh, play me some mountain music.
I freaking love it, man. It's probably difficult when you're sitting there looking at it all the time too.
There you go. There's one right there. Check that out.
Yep. And Everest is what, 24,000, something like that. I mean, that's not quite as tall, but it's freaking up there. I couldn't breathe, man. I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's I say I just seen people that have done it and I'm like, oh, come on, bro. If that guy can do it, I can do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's that mentality.
Yeah.
There've been a lot of people that have done it without oxygen. There've been people that have done it amputees. It's like, man.
You think, is the military still as tough today as it was when you went through when you were going through all that stuff?
That's a difficult question.
Is it a hard question to answer for me?
I will tell you this: the mindset of the soldiers that are serving in combat arms is not much different than it was when I was there.
Yeah,
I think we got a little lenient at times.
Just a tad.
We got a little lenient. And I'm sad to say I think that this inclusiveness that they were attempting to push is a no-go. That can't happen.
No.
I was asked, how I felt about the new Army being a all-inclusive Army. I told them that we're not. We are not. We've never been and weren't even when things were at its height of DEI. We are not an all-inclusive Army, and here's why. If you can't pass a PT test, what they now call an Army Combat Fitness Test, you can't go. You can't do the job, which means we can't include everybody.
Yeah.
And that's still the standard today. And
as it should be.
It has to be, bro.
It has to be that way.
I cannot depend. If I have to run 6 miles to get to a location and the guy next to me can't run a mile, I don't want him with me. I don't want him there.
That'd get you killed.
He's going to get us all killed. That people do not understand the importance of being a strong force. And I say this, and I'll leave this at this. We love our religious freedoms, right? We love to be able to worship freely. We love our idea of and the concept of our financial success and the ability in this country to achieve a level of financial success that can be based on one's efforts and energies and resources, right?
Right.
None of that matters if we're not free. If we are not a free nation, those things will be dictated by other people. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
So I tell people all the time, when you vote, if you look at nothing else, look at the one guy, look at the person who says, I'm going to make sure that we're a strong military. And a lot of times that strong military doesn't have to go to war, but because the rest of the world knows that we're strong, they don't want to screw with us. It's called show force.
I've been so impressed with Hexeth so far, with the way he's kind of taken over the Pentagon.
I mean, the guy's catching so much crap because he wasn't a general, but he is a soldier. I know him personally.
Yep.
And he is a forward-thinking, honest, fair human being who loves our military and truly appreciates the importance of us being a strong military.
Absolutely. That's what I respect about him.
Yeah.
And you can see it. He's brought that attention to detail back. He ain't afraid to get out there and work out with the boys either.
No.
He's right in the middle.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
very impressive, man. I can't remember seeing that in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's fun times that we're in right now.
There's this renewed sense of pride in our nation. That normally only comes after we've had some form of a conflict or we've been hit hard. You think about September 11th. What happened after that?
Yeah.
Man, everybody and their brother wanted to serve their country. It was very reminiscent of what we've seen in movies from, World War I and II. The nation coming together, willing to make sacrifices. Here again, pain. Willing to make sacrifices.
What is the reason that we can't seem to hold that together for any lengthy period of time?
Jordan Peterson said it best, I think, and I'm pretty sure it was Jordan. He said, "In good times, we make
the weak men thing.
Yeah, weak men. Yeah. And weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. Right. It's a cycle." So we went through some really hard times that have created some really strong men. And I say men, I mean, I could say that is for both men and women. You don't want me to get on the man.
We don't have to go there. No.
I don't mind. I ain't scared to say it. I really ain't, bro. There is no place for a female in a combat MOS. I'm just telling you, Pete Hexeth said it, and I believe it too.
You're always worried about what if they get taken hostage? What are they going to do to them? That's a whole different experience.
They can do the same thing to me. It's just a different position.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. But here's the reality in this country. If I'm running down into a hostile situation, and I'm that guy, if a house is on fire or if a building's on fire, I'm running in, not out. And if the shots are being fired, with gun in my hand or not, I'm running to it, not from it. If I'm doing that beside another man, I wish him luck. Him and I are both trying to do the same thing. If I'm doing that next to a woman, my automatic instincts are to stick my hand out and protect that woman.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anybody says, and I'll argue with them. Not argue, but I'll debate with them. It's human nature. And what has happened in our past is we have gone against human nature.
Amen.
And again, I'm not. People do what they want, be what they want. And a while ago I said we shouldn't have women in combat MOSs. If she's physically able and strong enough, and all of these things, God bless her. But if I'm in the foxhole with her, I'm thinking about trying to take care of her. It's just who I am.
Yeah.
And she can call me a chauvinist. She can call me what she wants. But in the end, I'm going to do everything I can to protect her. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to do the same thing for my buddy. But my buddy, I don't know. It's just different, man. Yeah. It is what it is. And I'll live with that, and I'll suffer the consequences of that. But that is what it is.
Well, and it falls in line with the same thing. You say that you don't, but you treat your daughters different than you do your sons. I'm sorry. It's just different. You worry about your daughters different. It's a different worry about things that happen to them. I worry different about my kids. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it. What? How's the hunting show doing? You still
good?
Actively engaged in all that?
I am. It's a different show now. I'm doing a show with a bunch of Cajun boys.
That's always fun.
It is awesome. But all they want to do is cook frickin' jambalaya.
It's crawfish season right now, baby.
Buddy, that's all they do is cook and eat and stuff.
That's why they're all...
It's absolutely awesome. It's called On the Road Outdoors. And I like it because it's not just me. There's like 4 or 5 of us that are the primaries on the show. So if I can't go do a hunt, it's no big deal. When I was shooting All Access Outdoors, bro, it was non-stop. I mean, I was on the road for 250 days a year.
Wow.
So because I would leave a show, a weekend run or something, and go hunt Monday through Wednesday, then go right back to the touring. Maybe go home for one day. It was brutal. So now if they go, hey, we got a deer hunt on this, these 3 days, I go, I can't be there, man. I've got to be home for a day, and I've been out all weekend. I can come for the last 2 days. Great. That's what we do. Yeah. It's awesome.
What's your favorite exotic thing that you've ever eaten that you've harvested? Because I know you've hunted all over the world. I mean, you've done all kinds of stuff.
As far as exotic,
as far as outside of the elk and all that
probably kudu.
Okay.
I absolutely loved kudu. I shot a kudu in Namibia, which is a country in Africa, just above South Africa on the west coast.
Is that like a deer species? What is it?
It's a deer species.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the deer family.
Yeah.
But it was some of the most delicious meat you'd ever.
What's it akin to? Oh yeah, is it? I like the axis. Axis got a little bit of sweetness.
It's in the same realm. Yeah.
You ever had oric?
Oh yeah, I've had it all.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about Texas. You go to Texas. And
everything's at a high fence ranch down there. I don't like the black buck that much. It's real gamey to me. I've tried.
Yeah, I don't know if I've.
I've tried it. I don't care, but I like the fallow. The fallow meat's good too.
You ever had nilgai?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's more like a cow than a deer.
Good stuff.
Man. Yeah, but fallow, you talking about fallow? You can in Hawaii, some of the best eaten fallow ever anywhere in the country or world, probably. Yeah.
I took him on a hunt outside of Austin. He got a beautiful white fallow, man.
Oh, wow.
Hanging as soon as you walk down my steps there.
He
in
got
the
him a nice
basement
one, man.
Yeah,
I got a couple really beautiful fallow in New Zealand.
Yeah.
I was out there hunting, and beautiful animals.
Yeah, I love
delicious.
Good wild game. I like to eat wild game.
That's about all we eat.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that. I just started, dude. I'm a cow man now, bro. Oh, I love it. I meet up with it. I ain't never done it, We decided we didn't want to buy beef anymore because we wasn't sure what all was going in it. Even if it says grass-fed, you really don't know.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to raise my own cows, and we're going to harvest them, and that's what we're going to do, and that's what we're doing now. But knowing what you're eating, I'm just over the top. Our vegetables, if we don't grow them, we buy them from local farms that we know.
Yeah.
As you know, on the road, it's a little more difficult to do those things, but
we try real
hard.
As I have the space to be able to do it, man. I cook most of my own food out on the road these days. I take everything with me.
Yeah.
Because, we've kind of gotten more healthy, getting off the seed oils, kind of eating cleaner.
We've been away from that for so long. Yeah. I've been keto for 7-8 years now.
Oh, you really? All my family, all the girls in the house, they're all gluten allergies or gluten sensitivities, so we've removed all the gluten. We've gotten rid of most of the processed foods. We've made a lot of changes.
I just eat meat and green vegetables, man. And we only eat once a day.
What?
Yeah, we eat once a day. When I'm on the road, I'll eat between 12 and 3. When I'm home with Karen, she and I will eat between 1 and 6.
Yeah.
Depending on what our schedule is at home. But
I like to eat way too much. I do. I enjoy it.
I've done it so long now that I don't even get hungry. My wife will go 40, 50 hours. She'll fast for 40, 50 hours at a time.
My wife can do all that.
I can't do it.
My whole family's going through a parasite cleanse right now. You done those?
Oh, no, but I know what you're talking about. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, we've been going through that.
Oh, God bless you.
I've just been doing the ivermectin from Tractor Supply. They're doing this whole kit. Absolutely. Tastes like apple. Got the apple flavor, baby.
Oh, God, no way, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah. The things we do, things we let our wife talk us into.
Yeah. Oh, my Lord.
I remember Mama worming us when we was kids.
Yeah.
Nobody does that anymore.
No.
But it seems to be something that needs to come back. I think
there's a big push on our health right now.
There is a big push about eating cleaner and getting all the dyes and
thank God, man.
We've
been lied to for so long.
So as much as you've traveled like I have, you go overseas and you go to grocery stores. They don't have the same crap in their food that we have over here.
No, their M&Ms taste like shit.
Well, even down to the toothpaste. And when you go buy vegetables and stuff from the produce, and like they say, how long is it going to be before you eat these? If it's more than 3 days, they won't sell it to you.
That's right, yeah.
You know, because they don't have all, they don't have
all the preservatives.
The
wine's
coloring,
the same way over there.
the whole thing. We order wine from Italy because it's better. I mean, it's just better wine.
Yeah,
it don't have all the crap in it that you have over here.
Yeah, you know, like I said, we've been attentive to this for, I don't know, 7 years. We've been hypersensitive about it. I say we, my wife started it.
Yeah.
She went, you know, we need to eat more organic stuff. I'm like, my granddad ate this and he lived.
But it wasn't the same stuff.
It was not the same thing.
Even the cereals that you eat now, they don't
That's
have the same texture to them.
Fast food back then wasn't the same.
They're not the same. I'm sorry, it's just not.
You remember grape nut cereal? It's like chewing on rocks.
Yeah.
Grape nut.
But bro, I haven't drank a glass of milk. I haven't ate a bowl of cereal in 7 years.
Wow.
No.
I chug milk daily.
I don't do grains. I don't do any grains.
Really?
No
breads, nothing.
No, sir.
Wow.
Now, again, every once in a blue moon, like my wife will make spaghetti. Once a year, I'll eat spaghetti with frickin' garlic bread. But I'm sick for 4 hours. It was the best thing while I'm doing it.
But it's the gluten in it. That's why we've gotten off the gluten. Because
no, for me, it's the carbs, man.
The gluten is a binder in there that holds everything together, and it's not good for you.
Yeah,
your body doesn't break it down. I mean, it's not healthy.
The biggest killer, the number one killer that causes everything, and the only thing that cancer lives off is sugar, and that's glucose. So anything that creates glucose, and that's carbs.
Well, see, the parasite cleanse, you have to get off all the sugars because they feed off the sugars.
That's right.
So like a liver fluke. My daughter found one of those.
Oh,
so and it has the highest. That causes more cancer.
Man, don't bring that up on screen.
90% of the
don't bring up the liver fluke.
90% of the cancers are caused by that particular parasite.
Oh my God!
It's an animal. It's in your body.
How do you know if you got worms?
You shine a light on it, Ahab.
On what?
But when you look at it,
you do.
You catch it. Yes, you catch them.
Yeah.
No.
Dude,
put your dip net back there. Strain it out.
That's a fact.
That's what they do.
My girlfriend
they put it on a cracker and eat it.
My girlfriend coming there. What are you doing? God dang.
Oh, you went dark.
Real? So reel it back in.
Like potted meat. Tastes just like potted meat.
No.
Tastes like re-eating corn.
Oh my God.
Liver.
Oh yeah. See all the things you learn on this podcast.
My record rep did that. Lena, I'll tell her name. And she was calling me going, you're not going to believe the stuff that's in my poop.
My family, I came in the other day and I told my wife, y'all have lost your mind because they're going to the gym where they work out, they do CrossFit and everything. And they're sharing pictures of all of it with all the girls at the damn CrossFit. Y'all have lost your damn mind.
I ain't lying, bro.
Is this like a plate job type thing or what? Is it in the... All right, I have to know. Do you shit in the toilet and shine a flashlight under? Do you shit on a plate?
They got nets. They catch it.
But they just been looking at it with their phone and taking pictures.
They clean it. Like I know, like she said, she took hers to the doctor.
Yeah.
And they would clean it, and you could see all of these parasites.
Yes.
You could see all the things that's in your body. She said it scared the fire out of her. She went in and did the thing like a cleaning where they literally shoved a hose up her bunghole.
They call that a colonic. A colonic.
Yes.
You can buy packs of 3 is what I've been told.
Man, we gotta stop. So I got this song.
Don't do way too much about this.
I got this song called Blue Collar Bird. Dang about it. That makes your skin crawl, don't it?
Yeah. All right, let's talk about something else. Are you still just doing 60 days a year?
Yeah.
I said I wasn't going to do more than 85. We would do 96 last year, and I want to do about 80 this year.
I'm willing to do 60, but I'd like to keep it around 50, 55.
Yeah.
Again, I have Alaska. My son and I have that business up there. Jerry Lake, Alaska.
They got parasites up there.
We bring in clients and let them experience the off-grid experience.
Yeah.
And if they request a colonic, we'll set that up for them. Whatever it's called. No, but really, I mean, I'm busy with that. I'm busy with trying to write and produce.
Who you
the
producing?
book, TV, and by TV, dude, I love the acting thing.
Do you really?
I do. Yeah, I ain't got no band. I ain't got nobody to deal with. I just sit there by myself, and a lot of time I'm just sitting there. So I'm writing songs and crap, or or freaking now, like I told you, man, my therapy, everybody laughs at me. My therapy is Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I am, bro, I'm eat up with it. Yeah. I read a thing this morning, and it hit me to a T. It said, my mind is 29, my humor is 12, my body, I'm pretty sure my body fought in World War II or something like that, you know.
I got to play note on this iPad here, and I had to delete the game because my wrists. I just get in there, man.
I play on a PlayStation, but I've got a computer. Jerry, my tour manager, set me all up on. I'm on Twitch and all that mess. Hey, I will tell you this though. I should have just left a fake name, you know, like I was doing. I changed it to Craig Morgan. My management changed it to Craig Morgan.
On your Call of Duty game?
Bro.
Where are you out?
Oh, it's awesome, though. I'm like, dude, I want to fight with you. I want to go in with you. Yeah. I'm like, I'm really not that good. You probably don't. I'm not that good. You know, but it for me is some of the best therapy. And I sit there and chat with these people, whether they're watching or fighting. You only do a 3 or 4 man team, and the 4 is a pickup. You know,
yeah.
But I'm not kidding you. For me, it is the most therapeutic thing, short of being cussed out by a 12-year-old kid, which is funny to me. And I try to watch my tone, and because I tell everybody, this morning I was playing, you know, my wife had to go do something, so I snuck down and played, you know, and I was playing this stupid game, and I killed this guy, and he was cussing me out. I'm like, bro, it's a game. And then the other guy was cussing him out, who was on his team because he picked up all his stuff after he died. I'm like, man, are y'all listening to yourselves, bro? This is a game. It's a game. And then, you know, I got killed by a team, and all 4 of them stood over top of me and teabagged me on the
of course.
I took a screenshot of it.
Yeah.
So what does your character look like? You got it looking like you?
Oh, I've got 27 different characters.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I have 27 different characters. And it's so funny because every time one dies and you lose all your stuff, instead of going back and getting one of the other looted up characters, you go, oh, we got to loot him back up, man. My OCD won't let me let that character go on that screen without a backpack. He's got to have a backpack, 3-plate vest. So when I go back in the next time, 27 characters, and I spend more time on one guy. It's the dumbest thing ever, but it is the most fun for me.
I've got some friends that
Twitch, you make money, bro.
Yeah, I've got some friends that have retired from the Army and the Marines. And man, they get on there together, and they'll actually do the whole co-op, and I mean, calling shit out like for real kind of deal.
Dude, that's what we do. Yeah. Like it's no joke. And then when you get guys that you're real close to, that you're playing with, you start texting. Hey, I'm going to comms out. Yeah. Just know that, watch me on the map. I'm going to sneak in from the basement. You come from the top.
See there? And they know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so much fun, man. Yeah. And I get on there with professionals. They're like talking to freaking F-18 pilots. I'm not kidding you. I'm like, I'm down. Oh my God, they're all over me. He's like, all right, I'm coming through the basement. Everything's going to be just fine. Just go ahead and use that selfie. I'm like, man, are you a fucking pilot? Excuse me. Sorry. Are you a pilot? And I got to watch that too.
Your gamer tone came
language.
out.
Yeah, the gamer language. And I try real hard not to because, I know sometimes kids are watching and like, I don't want to do that.
They say those words too.
Oh, yeah. And then you get this, I swear I was playing with a kid the other day and he's like, oh, thank you. I don't, my dad let me play. And I'm like, holy cow, this kid's smoking it. And the guy I play with a lot, Jeff, goes, hey, how old are you? He said, I'm 11. He's like, you're really good, bud. Oh, thank you. And we're running around, and all of a sudden he goes, shut the fuck up. Like, oh, hey, language, buddy. Language, son. You're not my dad. Like, you need to go get your dad. You need to wash your mouth out with soap.
Wow. Oh, our society's changed a lot, man. I remember my very first video game.
Pong?
Had Pong. Had the little controller right here, and they had the 2 knobs. Yeah. Boom. And then the Atari, and my favorite game was Atlantis. There's this game had this big ship, and you shot holes through it, and it'd send these flights out to attack you and everything. And I remember playing. I don't think I went to bed for 2 days. I sat in front of the TV and I played that game till I rolled it back to 0. It was my whole mission because I'd never done it, and it took me almost 2 days. I did not go to bed. I sat there and played that freaking game till I rolled it over.
And now, man, you know what an Atari with those games costs?
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, that's the new thing, the new retro all that stuff.
I remember going in the arcade when we were kids, man. Miss Pac-Man and Galaga and Centipede.
Yeah.
Those are so... Kids don't understand what an arcade was. I mean, we'd go to the mall.
Yeah.
I would go to the arcade while everybody else went shop.
Bro, I met my wife, and our first date was at the Grasshopper in Dixon, Tennessee. It was a game room. And I was playing Super Mario Brothers, and it was a table game, not upright. You know, you're playing on a table. And I never got over the first chimney. I just kept running into it. I didn't realize you had to jump up and go down in it. I just kept jumping and hitting the chimney. Yeah, like $2 worth. Hour.
I loved it, though.
First date. Yeah.
No kidding.
At the Grasshopper in Dixon, Tennessee.
That's country.
It's now a TV shop.
Yeah. Yeah, because none of that stuff's relevant anymore.
Yeah. Unless you're on a cruise ship. They have game rooms on a cruise ship.
Yeah. I like the casino better.
Yeah, I do like the casino.
Yeah, just a little blackjack every now and then. Be fun.
I like those slots. You know, you never know.
Yeah, you just What's the biggest slot payday you ever hit?
Not a lot. I'm maybe $400 or $500. I'm not. Yeah. I've never hit it real big.
I remember the biggest one. We were in Vegas. I think it was for the ACNs. We've been out there for a couple of days, and we were staying at Mandalay Bay, I believe. And everybody gone. It's like a Sunday, and I hadn't gambled at all. It's like I'm just feeling. I remember we'd come by this one machine and went to bed, and I told my wife, I said that machine looks pretty interesting to me. So she went upstairs, and I came back down. I put a dollar bill in it, and I spun one time and hit it for $4,000.
Holy cow!
I got my money, and I went back.
Holy cow!
Yeah, that's the biggest one I've ever had.
I'm terrible. I just do it for fun. But I remember playing blackjack one time with Dan Marino, football player. Oh, yeah. Dan and I were good friends, and this was a long time ago. And I didn't really know a whole lot, and he's Dan Marino. And Ralph Stringer, his manager or agent at the time, was my manager. And we're all sitting there at this blackjack table in this casino. And Dan slid over a bunch of money. He's like, sit down, play with me. I'm like, no, man, I'll get my own $20, whatever. And I looked down, and it was all hundreds. And like, holy cow. And Dan was playing, $100 chips. And I'm like, I'm not trying to find the sign. What's the minimum bid,
$5.
Yeah, $5. No, it's a $20 minimum bid table. So I just, I'm looking over, and they're all hitting it pretty hard, the softs, And I look down, I realized there's about $5,000 there. So I'm like, every chance I get, in chips,
Yeah.
Every chance I'd get 4 or 5 of them $100 chips and put them in my pocket. I ended up with about $2,500 in my pocket in chips, and all the rest of it I lost. And Dan went to Simon and said, no, man, I can't lose no more of your money. And we went back, later that night, and we're having dinner, and he said, how'd you end up? You went back and played? And I said, no, I didn't end up, but I did end up with $2,500. And I tried to give him the chips, and he wouldn't take it. He said, no, you need to go back out there and play it. Yeah, I've made more money by taking what's left of other people's money.
What's the most interesting person that you met in this journey?
Gosh, I don't know. The Vice Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Silva.
Okay.
Super interesting gentleman. Extremely, extremely intelligent. He's retired now. He and I did a round-the-world tour, the Vice Chairman's tour. I did it for like 4 or 5 years in a row. And we literally circumnavigated the globe, visiting installations around the world. We would start in Washington, D.C., and we headed west. And when we came back into Washington, D.C.
See, that's how the flat earth looks right there.
Yeah, well, we literally, that's why I said I know it's round. I've been around it 5 times.
Been on the ice wall?
If there was a wall, we would have hit it. We went, we stopped in Japan, Greece, and various places around the country and visited soldiers. It was awesome. But I'll never forget, I was sitting up front, and this is right as Space Force started. And we were sitting on the front of the plane one evening, we were talking, and we got to talking about the military and different branches. And he said, and I said, yeah, and they got this stupid Space Force. I mean, what the hell is that, sir? Who would have ever dreamed? He's like, yeah, I'm the one that started that. I'm like, it seems like a great idea. I'm sure in the future it's going to be important.
Yeah.
But he was the guy that literally, he started. It was his brainchild. And looking back, he was so forward thinking, bro. I mean, because it's a real deal. I mean, we need that. I would have never thought it, but now, you can look and see where we're at, and he was way ahead of his time.
I think there's a lot more going on up there than what we realize.
Oh, no question.
Rods of God. There's all kinds of stuff.
I'm not just talking about other worldly things. I'm talking about within our own world, other countries doing things out there that we need that. We need to be able to monitor that. It's just like, in the wars, everybody talks about, oh, we don't need people in Europe. We don't need people in Southwest Asia. Man, you have no idea what you're saying. The person that says that's one of the most ignorant individuals, because those are like early warning devices. When we have people in those places, we're able to monitor, volatile.
That are assimilated into the city and the culture and everything.
Yes, absolutely. We need to know what's going on.
And not just embassies, but people assimilated into society.
Yeah, so when the society over there starts getting very anti-American and the aggression's building over there, we have early warning of that, so we can try to shut it down.
Yeah. Interesting. So you're out with Blake right now. And that's going to carry you doing the whole year. Or you just doing the front half of the year up to the summer?
Well, he's only doing it through March. The Friends and Heroes tour.
Oh, so you just did February, March, or the end of February?
Yeah, we're doing 14 dates total.
Wow.
I don't know how many more dates he'll do. I swear, he might. He don't work a lot, dude.
Really?
He does not work a lot.
He got that idol money or that voice money. He got that voice money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a reality.
Yeah.
And he does well enough, and he's done well enough that he don't want to do that. I think he is doing a residency in Vegas again. That did real well for him, and he may do some of the bigger fairs and festivals, that kind of thing. But yeah,
that's pretty awesome. And you're gonna busy summer season.
Yeah,
fair and festival. That's pretty much when you do the bulk of your stuffs in summer, and then kind of phase out and get ready to go back into hunting season. Early fall.
That's right. Early fall, we'll do our own fall tour, whether it be a God Family Country or American Storytellers, that kind of thing. I love doing those. Playing the bigger theaters around the country. We'll do 8, 10, 12 of those.
Awesome. How many songs on the EP?
6 songs on the EP.
One thing we didn't talk about, and I wanted, before I forget, tell me about the book. Tell me about your book.
God, Family, Country. It's a memoir. It literally as simple as that. It's my life story. It's really funny. I didn't think that my life story was any different than everyone else I knew. I thought all people sought the same things. I grew up very ignorant, lower middle class, very blue collar. And I assumed that everyone did kind of the same thing. I was the guy living in Kingston Springs, Tennessee, seeing the commercial, New York City. And then I went to New York.
Get a rope.
Fell in love with the people.
Yeah.
And I think these people they're not really that mean. They're just all in a hurry. I freaking love it.
Yeah.
So running around the world and educating myself and those things, I was very fortunate to be able to do a lot of things. Like, we've talked about this. Yeah. And in the Army, getting to work with the agency and doing different things, which carried over into my music career and getting to go back and do stuff with the agency as an entertainer, and that's all in the book. So again, I thought it was all normal. I thought everybody wanted to jump motorcycles on stage and and drive fast and jump out of airplanes and
What I found the most fascinating thing for me is just how many similarities we have with people all around the world. Most people want the same thing we want. They want to give their kids a better life than they had. They want a good, safe place to raise their family. They want to believe in the God of their choice. They want to have a healthy, safe environment to go to bed at night.
Yep.
Really, our needs are very simple. And if you buy into what you see on the news and the over-exaggeration of all of it, you'd be terrified to go off your front porch on a regular basis. But there's good people everywhere, man.
Yeah, our
from New York, all the way out to California.
That's exactly right.
Everywhere.
It's the same, even in the cities.
Yeah.
They all desire that same thing. They might not have it to the extent that some of us in the more rural areas do.
Yeah.
But they do have it to some degree. I will tell you, to a much greater degree than a lot of other parts of the world.
Oh, without a doubt.
So,
but even as I've traveled abroad, one of the things we always try to teach the kids is leave your American ideology at home. When you go to Italy or Spain or France or wherever we travel to, embrace the culture, assimilate, and find things that you like about it. And if you've never tried the menu before, don't just turn your nose up at it. Try the things from the culture.
Yeah.
Experience.
Amen.
And it's a healthy way to approach traveling, because you draw good things to you. If you come with that arrogance, you're going to get arrogance right back.
I learned that no matter where I went, if I tried, they were a whole lot more receptive.
Absolutely. There's amazing
I cannot
people.
speak. My wife and kids make fun of me because of my Spanish, but in the military I had to learn Spanish. and because I was working in the part of the world for the most part. Yeah. So, and that was a long time ago, and it was not real good then. So it's even worse now. But I found that when I go to Spanish speaking parts of the world and I try, they're a whole lot more receptive than if I expect people to understand me and my language.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, if you come to my country, I expect you to attempt to learn our language and navigate our system. I do expect that.
Yeah.
I do. When I go to France, buddy, if I don't try, you're done.
Oh yeah, they don't
care.
They don't care. France is probably the worst.
But if you try, they embrace you.
Yeah.
And so I expect the same thing here. If you come here and you're trying, I'm gonna envelop myself around you and do everything I can to help you. I really will. But if you expect me to learn yours and you come to my house, and that's what I'm gonna say. I'll look at it that way. This is my house. Yeah. This is the United States of America. This is my house. If you want to come in my house, you got to act according to our rules. That's simple.
What's your favorite place that you traveled abroad that you really dug a lot?
New Zealand. That was quick and easy.
Gotcha.
I absolutely love that country. It's like the United States of America when we first started, or everything we read about it. The people from north to south, no matter which island you're on, they're just so kind. Dude, I'd never been in this country. The first time I went there, I'd never been there. I stopped at a grocery store. I'm not kidding you. Out in this little old place. And I got up to pay and pulled up my wallet and, and had American money. And I went, oh, you take this in. And they were like, no problem. Just stop in later when you got the right currency.
What?
I'm like, what if I don't come back through here? Yeah. They were that, it was just the coolest thing. But it made me go, I can't wait to come back through here. Everyone I met over there, and that's not to say that there aren't parts of that country too that have dark alleys,
Oh, I'm sure.
There's dark alleys in every country, but.
So I've got my wife's sister and her husband. He's in the oil and gas business. They got transferred over to Scotland. They've been over there for a couple of years.
One of my favorite countries.
And she's been so freaked out. She said, they've got twin boys and then a 4 or 5 year old. And so the baby was little, but people would go up to restaurants and stuff and go in and eat and leave their baby in the stroller parked outside of the restaurant. You wouldn't. Who would do that here?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how comfortable that culture is. I mean, but they literally leave their babies outside.
We've been to Scotland quite a few times. My ancestry's from Scotland.
Really?
Yeah. I am. So my real last name is Greer.
I have a plot of land.
You did that?
I went and visited. I'm a lord. I am a lord. Dude, I have the documentation to prove it.
Yes, we went and visited my ancestors' homes.
No kidding.
I am a derivative of the Griersons, which is a derivative of the McGregors.
Okay.
So we followed it all the way back. I went to the Hall of Archives. I'm registered in the Hall of Archives as Craig Morgan Greer, in parentheses, Grierson. I'm in the Grierson tribe. I mean, I've got my kilt, the family kilt. I met they don't call him president of the tribe. The head of the tribe. It's actually a female. One of the only female heads of a Scottish tribe. I did the whole thing, and it was absolutely fascinating. But as much as I loved it, they're still not as free as we are, y'all.
Yeah,
they're not. And I've had many a night, not many, but I've had a few nights with a bunch of great Scottish drinkers, and I'm not a drinker, and we always end on the same note. We left. Y'all can't or haven't. And it just eats them up. But they're beautiful and wonderful and happy. And that's, they're just wonderful people. And I love it. I've got some dear friends over there now. In fact, we met a gentleman that lives in one of the houses that my ancestors built in the 1400s.
That's crazy.
And we stay in touch. We communicate.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What have we missed that you want to talk about? Anything else going on in your life? Any social information that you want to throw out there? Where to find tour dates and all that stuff? Just CraigMorgan.com or?
Yeah, CraigMorgan.com. I'm on all the socials, just like all of us that do this. I am married, so I need everyone to subscribe to my Twitch and pay money and buy my music and all that crap.
Can't get out of here without letting the boys ask their question.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Do you do some work with getting service dogs for veterans?
We have.
You've done that in the past.
We have. Yeah. We donated a dog. They named the dog Greer. to a service member's son, actually, who has a rare disorder, and the dog identifies if he's about to have a seizure. And he took it to college with him and the whole bit. So we've worked with
cool.
them.
Yeah.
Our primary charity of choice for veterans is Operation Finally Home. They build homes for veterans. They also do it for law enforcement officers, first responders, their families if the soldiers passed, different things like that. And there's lots of great organizations that do that, but Operation Finally Home, I think they're experts because they incorporate the local community. It's local plumbers, electricians, realtors, all these that are working with the family. So in the process of building this home, they create a bond and a relationship between the veteran or him and his families and the community. And I think that's long-term, longer lasting than just giving them a home.
That's very nice.
But great company to work with.
Yeah.
So I've seen you perform several times, and I have to know, man, what is your most embarrassing moment on stage?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I get embarrassed, bro. I forget words to songs that I wrote.
I was just saying because it's high energy, you know, like jumping dirt bikes or whatever, you know, like something has had to have happened.
My most, if I was to say something that like truly maybe embarrassed me, like I don't really care. Right. I don't get embarrassed. Like I'm human. Yeah. I'm going to screw up, make mistakes. But I was embarrassed one time. One of those times I was going to jump my motorcycle on stage. We had the ramp set up, you know, on the side of the stage, and oh my gosh, I think there was like 12 or 15,000 people out there. And I'm going, man, make sure the people are back just in case my motorcycle fails or something. So I was backstage warming up, and the DJs are up on stage. Oh, coming up, we got this new artist and blah, blah, blah. And they're going on and on intro, and they're going, okay, get ready. And I'm backstage warming up my bike, and I'm popping away. Ramp. And I was with Luke Bryan. And Luke and those guys were all on the bus staring out the window. And so I'm just showing out. Yeah. Going by, you know, flipping birds and stuff, you know, laughing, having fun. My back tire caught a rut, and that son of a gun rolled, flipped me, gashed my arm all the way up. It's bleeding, ripped my pants. So I'm on my talkback laugh going, get to the bus. I need new pants now. So I jump off, running the bus, change my pants. And every time my brother, who was my stage manager at the time, would bring me my guitar, he would take an alcohol wipe and rub my arm. So it would just burn to the point I about to pee myself. Oh, yeah. So the whole show he did that. Oh, I beat the snot out of him after it was over. Oh, yeah, drug him across the stage.
That's awesome.
Brother, thank you.
Yeah, but I was embarrassed by Luke and them, not the fans, thank God.
I love you, man.
I love you, my brother.
I treasure your friendship. Always great to spend some time with you. I hope we get the chance to share the stage out there sometime this year.
I'm going to tell you something. I tell people all the time, I got friends in this business, but I have very few that I can call, and you're one that will, if you don't answer, you always call me back within an hour or so, guaranteed to get a phone call back from you within 24 hours. No questions. Yep. And I love that about you. You're the real deal, bro.
I appreciate that, my friend.
Blake, it might be a month, man. He might not call me for
and don't call Aldine. He don't ever answer. Call anybody back.
All good people.
All good people. Love him.
Amen.
Craig Morgan. Love you, brother. Take her on out, Ron.